Hey y'all, it's me again, of course. Good morning, YouTube. Monday morning, good July 1st. Well, I guess I should have fixed my hair today. I woke up and forgot to fix it. Anyway, so I was crunching some numbers. I've been looking for some spreadsheets for cost per mile, revenue generated, stuff like that. I found quite a few of them. My mentor is going to give me his spreadsheet. I like to crunch even the tiniest numbers. I'm kind of anal about that. I like to know where everything's going most of the time. I mean, there might be $1 here and there that I'm off on, but as I said in one of my previous videos quite a while back, is numbers, man. It's all about the numbers, baby. Mostly about the fuel, but I was crunching some numbers on the lease and buying a truck. So I don't have the finances to buy a truck. I probably won't have the finances to buy a truck. Now, through no fault, I can't say that, through some fault of my own, in the past I had issues with, I had wonderful cash flow. Don't live above your means or at your means. Try and live a hair below your means and throw the rest in savings, because you never know what's going to happen. Take it from someone with experience in not knowing what's going to happen. Because it happens. It does. Never say it can't happen to me, because it can happen to you. I'm not going to say it will happen to you. I don't want to jinx you or anybody else. I would not want any of that to happen to anybody. But that being said, I went over some numbers. So people complain, say don't do leases. They aren't worth it. You can't make any money at it. And they also complain saying Schneider rips you off. They have astronomically high payments, so on and so on. Admittedly, the payments are kind of high, but I mean, if the freight is there to help back up your payments and get you into that truck quicker, my personal opinion is it's a good plan from everything I've seen. Now, I took some numbers. I follow quite a few people on Facebook. I keep an eye on their posts, on the ones that are still making payments and have paid off their trucks that work for us and so on. And I see guys asking questions all the time about new trucks or used trucks and the amount of money they're paying on them. Now, I'm basing this off of new trucks. The average payment I've seen is around $900 to $1,000. So I took a base payment of $955 a week, and I broke down the payments as opposed to actually buying a new truck and the interest rate. So the things you got to understand about interest rate: the average interest rate on a commercial truck, any commercial vehicle, is more than your car. You can get a car for what, 2.99 or 4.99%, depending on your credit. 7.99 if you got bad credit, right? With a tiny bit down sometimes with no down if you go through the buy here, pay here lots, etc. You know, you're not getting into that, but buy here, pay here, shady dealers, and so on. Trucks are a little bit harder to get loans for. If you have astronomical credit, I did a little bit of research before I did this video, but if you have astronomical credit, the best borrowers can get about 5% on a rig. So I don't fall in that category. I used to, not anymore, due to circumstances that were in my control and failed because I let things get out of hand with help from another person. The ones with spotty credit get anywhere from 7 to 30% plus a down payment for a new rig. The used trucks will actually have more of a chance of having to you get a down payment. They're a higher risk because they have more chance of a breakdown, and a lot of people that have less than stellar credit like to go for the used ones because it's more affordable, which is understandable. I mean, if you're going to make it, try and keep it within your means, and so on. So that being said, let's get down to brass tacks. So here I have my board spreadsheet. All right, so based on a Schneider lease, you got $955 a week, and comes out to $41.38.33 a month. Total payment for the truck. Now this isn't total payment, but this is what you've paid over 3 years, is $148,980 plus the $56K residual. They have a $56K buyout. Now that'll change. What happens with these is they have I've seen guys that have paid more than $56,000 when their truck is finished on the 3-year lease for the residual payment. And the reason that is because if the better condition the vehicle is in, just like a car, the better condition it is in, the more you're going to pay for it. So when it's off the lease, the average at the mileage that they have it rated for is 56,000. But if you drive 100,000 miles a year and it's rated for 150 a year, you're supposed to have 450,000 on that at the end of 3 years. You only have 300,000 on it. It's going to be worth considerably a larger amount of money. We're going to base this off of what their estimate is. So mine's probably going to be worth more, but because I'm not going to drive 150,000 miles a year. I might. It all depends on the situation and how I have to make my money. The annual payment comes to $49,660, and if you add $148,980 plus $56K, your total payment for the rig is $204,980. Okay. Now, if you look over here, brand new truck, $165,000. You put $20,000 down on it. Okay. You finance it at $145,000 at 8% interest, which comes down to for 5 years, right? So your payments are going to be considerably lower. If I would have done it for 3 years on the list, but the main reason I would have for doing this is to actually lower my payments, even though it doesn't really help. I mean, it does lower them, but if the business is there and the money's there, you can pay it off quicker, and you'll do that anyway, right? Unless you just want to blow your money. So for 5 years, monthly payment comes to $29.40, which is considerably lower than the $41.33, right? $29, that's almost $1,200. That's like $1 and some change, under $2,900 for a month. The weekly payment is $678.48, but you won't be doing it by the week. But this is just to help you get an idea, because $955, $678, almost $300 difference per week. But if you want to figure this into the month, you got to multiply by 4.33, because there's some months, most months have more than exactly 4 weeks in them. And to get the correct average, that's what you got to multiply it by. Your total payment over 5 years is going to be $176,404.80. Your payment for Schneider over 3 years is less than the $176,404.80, but we're not done yet. Okay, you're still paying more right now for this truck. Interest is $31,404.80, which is where you get the $176, because you've got $145 financed plus the $31,404 gets $176,404. The annual payment you're coming out with on the truck, on the finance truck from the bank, $35,280. Might as well say $35,281. Got a glare there. $280.96. Your annual payment for the Schneider truck, this is why I said it costs you more, is $49,660, which is about $14K more. $14 14,400, almost 14,300 and some change. But now you got to look at this. After 5 years, your total payment is $196,404.80. Your total payment for this truck after 3 years, if you can afford to pay off the $56,000. If you don't have 56 saved up, this is going to end up being more, because you're going to have to finance it and pay interest on that as well. But this is assuming that you have $60,000, $56,000 saved up. They will take off the MMA, the maintenance account, will go towards this. So if you have $20,000 saved in the maintenance account, then your payoff at 56 will end up being $36K. So you'll only have to come up with an extra $36,000, which you can get. I mean, once you've been established for a while, a $36,000 loan isn't going to be that much. The interest will be a lot less, so you might get off better. But $204,980, right, for that, and $196,404. So you are paying only $8,000 more dollars, almost $9,000 more dollars for a Schneider truck, and it's still got low mileage. And once you pay it off, I mean, if you got low mileage on that truck, it's going to be worth considerably more than $56,000, and it's still going to be under warranty. You got, I think it's a 700,000 or 600,000 mile warranty. So if you drive 300,000 miles, you still got 300,000 miles on that warranty, and it's free and paid for. You can take it anywhere. Once it's paid for, you can take your truck anywhere you want. Now, Schneider will only allow you to take it to certain places if you're still leasing it, but it's not your truck yet. Keep in mind, this ain't your truck either when you're making payments on it. You can say it is, but it's not. That's like people saying, oh, I'm not an owner-operator, or you're not an owner-operator because you're leasing the truck. Yes, you are. You're running a business out of this truck. Regardless of how you get this truck, you're still an owner-operator. You may be lease purchasing it, but you own the business. No arguments on that. I don't want to hear it. So one of the things I was looking at was, after a year, go into a bank finance truck, because you should have 20 grand saved up by then after a year. And then you can do that and get your own truck. But here's the catch. So after a year, you've paid $49,660 for this truck. Say you got $20,000 saved off to the side and you want to go get a brand new truck. You're already in a new truck. You've only got 100,000 miles on this thing. Okay? You know what's been wrong with it, what hasn't been wrong with it. I mean, there are lemons in every industry. So if you go with this plan after the first year here, you got to add that onto that. If you're running at 8% interest, if your credit is good enough to run at 8%, or you can find somebody that'll do that, and interest rates haven't skyrocketed or anything crazy, this is your total payment after 6 years now total, okay? Because you got 1 year here, 5 years here, $246,000.64, which is way more. That's $42,000 more than that. And all you did was go into another truck. I would much rather pay this, just stay in here. I mean, if it's working and you're making money, then it's good. If not, then take your 20 and get a used one and save some money up. But then again, you get a used one, you're buying somebody else's headache. Now, here's one other catch. So if you can't get 8% interest and you get a 10% interest, this isn't even worth it. You might as well just get a lease. I mean, you don't need to worry about the credit, right? So, I'm sorry. I can't keep looking at my hair like that, man. It's driving me crazy. Say you get a 10% interest rate with 20% down, okay? So on $165,000, you're paying a loan on $145,000 at 10% interest. Your monthly payment is now $3,080. Still less than that. That doesn't matter. I mean, it does if you can't afford $4,000 a month. But your total payments is $184,849, plus the $20K you put down is $204,849. So if you got a 10% interest rate, unless you just don't want to pay that thing off in 3 years, I prefer to pay everything way early and 24 months early, 104 weeks earlier. Than I would much rather do that. There's a lot more vacation time, a lot more time off, a lot more earlier time to retirement, and a lot more time to take the extra money and invest it in other things. 10% interest, you're paying $204,849. You're paying $150 less than what your lease payment is. Now, the only factor you got to look at in that is if you're only driving 300,000 miles, your truck is gonna probably be paid off at 60 grand or 63 grand or something like that. So that's the only problem with that factor. So if it's 60 grand, you're paying $4,000 more dollars, but you're still paying less unless you come up with some reason where you got to pay 90 grand for that truck. A 1 year lease and then buy brand new from a bank plan doesn't work. 1 year lease doesn't work if you want to go to buy new afterwards. Unless you just want to get out from Schneider's micromanaging. So, because, you know, everybody complains about the micromanagement, which is, well, it's my stuff. I should be able to do what I want. No, it's not. It's not your truck. It's not your company. You are providing a service to Schneider, and they are providing you with the capabilities to make money and have the freedom to do what you want to do when you get done with work. I mean, need a week off? Go take a week off. Need a day off? Go take a day off. You can't do that at a regular job. I mean, the place I was going to work for, I could have, but I needed 100,000 miles under my belt, and I told them, I'm not coming back. Once I leave, I'm not coming back. It's not worth it for me. I even had 401k, retirement, pension plan. But at $52,000 a year, what are you going to have in 15 years? I want to be done in 10, and at this rate I will be. So, my plan is do the lease. The other thing is, and I was going through all the, I was looking through the, I'm not centered. All this time I haven't been centered. I was looking through spreadsheets and stuff, trying to find what I want and get ideas of what all I could put on my spreadsheet to give me an idea of where finance, money, cost per mile is going, and how much my actual cost per mile is and what it needs to be. There was one spreadsheet out there that had, like, and this is it's a good idea. I mean, take some of that money. I know a lot of guys like to go out there and just, hey, I'm making money, now I can blow it. You got to think in the long run, because you don't know what's going to happen in the market. Not just the trucking market. I'm talking about every single market out there. You never know. Country's been profiting for years. Our markets have all been up for quite some time. Recession, depression, these things can happen at the blink of an eye. I mean, there are signs that it could happen, but everybody's just speculating. That's all they do. Speculation. There's a lot of it. So save the money, some of it, put some of it into a retirement fund, put some of it into stocks and bonds, put some of it into any possible investments you can. Like, there are companies out there that, you know, for the retirement or pension plan, they invest that money into a stock or bond, and even a savings bond, something like that, you know, and use that. So that's another one I'm going to do. So, you know, I'm going to do is this thing dying on me again? Split my video in half for 20 minutes. So you take it, the money goes to the business. The business pays you. The business invests money into stock or something for, say you set yourself up with a retirement plan from your business. Instead of having to set it up this way, you can set it up that way. Tax write-offs, stuff like that. Anyway, that's why I believe because I thought about it, I was like, you know, maybe I should lease for a year and then go get my own. And I did the numbers. It's not really worth it to me, saving several $100s, unless I can come up with like a 2% interest rate. And then, you know, there'll be extra money at the end of the month, at the end of the week, a few $100s here, and the month a few thousand there, or $1,000 to save for the business or go in my pocket or whatever, you know. And to me, that's not really worth it unless I can get a better interest rate back out of that cash. My plan is to pay it off and then lump it. So I'm going to do some more research maybe and see if the actual savings could be used with a higher return on percentage. That's another thing, ROI, return on investment. So if your return on investment for refinance or going through a bank is better than your return on investment for payoff in 3 years, then go that route, right? Plans, ideas, questions, comments. Hit that like, share, subscribe, whatever. Y'all keep the left door closed.